Well, Coinbase wants to effectively take over everything that they can within this cryptocurrency space, from being the top US exchange to being the custodian of over 90% of all Bitcoin spot ETFs in the United States. And they want to take out their competition as best that they can so that they can also be in cahoots with the USDC, which is run by Circle, which is a sister company of Coinbase. They're all meshed in together, and Circle and Coinbase want to take down Tether. But first, let's talk about the fact that Coinbase services 90%, 8 out of the 11 Bitcoin spot ETFs that exist in the United States. Coinbase is the custodian for it. Can you say honeypot? I, for one, am awfully interested how they are securing the billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin that they're now custodians of. And I hope that they're doing it well for the sake of all the institutions that love centralization and really they claim to be, big fans of decentralized networks and the cool new thing that is Bitcoin. But they're all using the same custody solution. They're not even self-custodying. I know they can't because of the regulations and stuff, but they're all using the same guy. They're all using Coinbase. That is wild, in my opinion, and should be a concern security-wise for any of those 8 of the 11 institutions. Now let's talk about what's happening with Coinbase and Circle against USDT, which, by the way, is nearing the $100 billion market cap level. USDT has been around for a very long time and has combated years and years of FUD of what's actually backing it. And now they have Circle has an employee who is a let me get her title right, formerly worked for the U.S. Treasury Department as a director of terrorist financing and financial crimes before joining Circle. And this person addressed Congress recently saying, "I personally believe no company should be allowed to reference the U.S. dollar without having those democratic values inside the company and inside their U.S. dollar-backed stablecoin. I hope they, the Treasury, are looking at this seriously, given Tether's reputation as well as the data we have seen that they are contributing to terrorist financing and other activities." But I wonder if Caroline Hill is actually aware of Brian Nelson, who is a Treasury Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence. Came to light that the numbers reported for cryptocurrencies serving as finances for certain terrorist groups once reported over $100 million cryptocurrency payments over 2 years from August 2021 to June 2023. The real figure was actually 12 million, and it could actually be much less than that. In fact, Brian Nelson said, "Frankly, we assess that terrorists still prefer to use traditional products and services." So it turns out traditional products and services offered perhaps by U.S. companies are the more preferred method for the bad guys to fund their efforts. And I think this is just yet another political move from Coinbase and Circle to promote their own product, which is USDC, over their competitor, which by and far has benefited from having, number one, the first mover advantage in terms of stablecoins, certainly the most popular and well used and has just been battle tested in terms of FUD, USDT. Now, don't get me wrong, USDT is certainly still a centralized stablecoin, and they certainly have the ability to freeze funds and do whatever the heck they want if there's a law enforcement involved, or if they do get pressured from political movements like this. They certainly have the ability to affect a whole lot of censorship over those coins, and anyone who's holding centralized stable coins should take that into consideration as well. Speaking of censorship and being kind of anti-crypto, there's a new country that had their banking system has actually their banking authority has come out and banned cryptocurrency transactions. And methinks this is going to be the same country that we're going to see a huge uptick in user activity in terms of cryptocurrencies, because that is what happens. Money flows where it's treated best. Money flows where it can be most free. And people tend to have that interesting reaction to things like bans. They tend to gravitate towards the thing that is banned, especially if it's cryptocurrencies. Most good people enjoy cryptocurrencies. Actually, the vast majority of us are not bad guys, and we prefer to have free money. So the country, by the way, is Honduras. So keep an eye on Honduras, how this develops, what the locals are going to think about it. It's certainly the complete opposite tactic to El Salvador. So that is an interesting tact. I wonder how long this will last, in fact. But keep an eye on that. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you want even more insights into what Toby and I are doing with our own cryptocurrencies, you get access to our cryptocurrency portfolio, our market updates, which when times like this, the prices are very volatile, we are all the more active in giving you our basically daily updates, what we think is happening in the market. Additionally, we provide trade alerts to let you know how we are best planning to take advantage of certain movements in cryptocurrencies. If you want to know that information, all you got to do is join the CT Club. You can do so by going to learningcrypto.com. That's where I'll see you. In the meantime, I hope you have a good one. Bye, guys.